Good evening. We begin tonight with some breaking news. The Golden Police Department is mourning the loss of an officer killed on the job.
He and another officer were hit by a suspected drunk driver tonight while dealing with a crash on Highway 58. A procession to take that officer to the Jefferson County Coroner's Office is just wrapping up now. It was a fairly short distance. There were vehicles from a number of metro area law enforcement agencies that were there. Once they arrived at the coroner's office, people began to leave their vehicles to line up along a route where presumably the officer will be escorted into the coroner's office. I'll tell you a little bit about how this happened. About 5 o'clock tonight, there was a crash on Highway 58 in Washington Avenue. Two officers come to assist, male officer and a female officer. That's when they're hit by this suspected drunk driver, hit hard enough that they were pinned under the vehicle. The male officer died on the scene. The female officer was taken to the hospital. Serious injuries, is expected to survive. About an hour ago, we heard from the Golden Police Chief talking about what a remarkable man they lost.
We'd like to tell you a few things about the officer. He's an amazing human being. He has had a long, stellar career in the military, where he flew Black Hawk helicopters and served as a commander. He will be survived by a wonderful wife, a sister, and parents.
It's tough to listen to Chief Harvey tonight. He talked about the officer he lost and about the department, he said, that will deeply, deeply miss him and have so much respect and gratitude for someone that served his country and also served his community. 33 years old, and when we think about that, the officer's name has not been released. The chief said his wife doesn't want that released at this moment. We completely understand. There's some out-of-state family that needs to be brought in, and under these circumstances, you can understand why they don't need that out there. Rachel Krause is joining us now. She was in Golden. You listened to the chief talk tonight. Really a devastating night for that department on what is a call of duty that they make all the time.
Yeah, Cam, Golden's Police Chief Joe Harvey was just shaken up. You could see visibly devastated, tears in his eyes as he gave us an update, telling us a little bit more about the crash that took place here earlier this evening. He says this all started when two Golden officers were helping out on a traffic crash that had happened here along Highway 58 in Golden, just near Washington Avenue earlier today. Officers were outside of the car when they were hit by a suspected DUI driver. They were both trapped underneath the driver's vehicle. One officer, a woman, she was taken to the hospital. She has serious injuries but is expected to survive. Another officer, a 33-year-old man, was killed. Chief Harvey says he was a decorated military service, had a history of that, and was just an amazing person.
Internally, he's going to be survived by 71 members of his Golden family. Who love and care for him deeply. Obviously, this is a very difficult situation, and particularly for a city like Golden, but more broadly for the law enforcement family.
Police are not sharing the officer's name at this time at his family's request. Now, just in the past 20 or 30 minutes or so, we watched the procession of officers who'd been lined up here along State Highway 58 for quite some time. They'd been waiting out here for about an hour or so. They were all lined up near the site of where that crash took place here earlier. Many officers standing outside of their cruisers for more than an hour waiting to salute that officer's body as he was driven past in an ambulance on his way to the coroner's office. Now, as for the driver in this case, that person was taken into custody and arrested on suspicion of suspected impairment. Again, that scene blocked off here along Highway 58 more than 4 hours after that crash first began. Reporting live in Golden, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Golden Police, of course, one of the oldest police departments in Colorado, dates back to 1872. In our research tonight, we could not find another line of duty death for Golden Police. It's not on the Colorado Law Enforcement Memorial, which dates back about 100 years. It's not on the National Law Enforcement Memorial, which also dates back about a century. Not to say that it didn't happen a very long time ago, but certainly not recently has this department experienced a loss like this.
No, and our hearts go out to them right now, but they will be dealing with this for a very, very long time, and it will never be the same for any of them when they think about, and especially that area, which is so close to their police department itself where this happened. This is the coroner's office. The officers have lined up, and many of them gotten out of their cruisers and the vehicles to also pay their respects and share in this tribute tonight. Given the fact this happened just hours ago, the volume of officers that have shown up from around the metro area and the State Patrol to be there, and many of them also showing up at the hospital too, to support the other officer who survived, is expected to survive, his partner. It's incredible. Their actions speak volumes tonight.
Mm-hmm. A reminder for all of us, even people who would never in a million years think about driving while under the influence, just a reminder to move over and give these officers room to work on the side of the road. It's not just a courtesy, it is the law in Colorado to move over if you can. Slow down, you must, if you're passing first responders working along the side of the road, or tow crews as well. And in this case, what it sounds like from what the chief was saying, this was a drunk driver, suspected drunk driver, who then also did not move over and struck these two officers. Just a horrible, horrible tragedy tonight in Golden, and one that is going to impact that community and the law enforcement community in the metro area for a long time to come. This is the first time in 12 months that a first responder in Colorado has died in the line of duty, the first line of duty death since last November, when Cortez Police Sergeant Michael Moran was shot and killed during a traffic stop. Like the 33-year-old who was killed in the line of duty today in Golden, Sergeant Moran down in Cortez was also somebody who had first served our country and then served our community. We'll keep an eye on things there in Golden and keep you updated throughout the evening.
Our sympathy and our gratitude. The snow is creating a lot of problems across Colorado. The southern part of the state is getting the brunt of it. A lot of whiteout conditions leading to big traffic impacts. And look at these semis off the side of the road. Air travel also took a hit today. According to FlightAware, 878 flights were delayed at DIA and 29 were canceled. We have a live look at the roads in Castle Rock. Can't see a whole lot. They're moving along there right now. Doesn't look too bad, but the Douglas County School District has already decided to cancel classes tomorrow. They're not even going to try. They've had plenty of snow. And Kathy, the snow may be slowing down right now, but more is coming.
Yes, there's one main system that we're tracking, and it's spinning over the Four Corners area. It will continue to bring periods of light snow between now and Saturday, along with some cold air. So we continue with our weather impact day until 11 o'clock, as Denver is still under a winter weather advisory. Roads that were wet will be icy, black ice, light snow falling on top of that. So you could have a difficult and slow drive again tomorrow morning. And we're watching as the snow continues heavier tonight along the Palmer Divide and out across the eastern plains. Mountain roadways have been closed today due to the snow, and I-70 on the eastern plains as well. Very cold temperatures expected tonight and again tomorrow. We're already falling into the mid-20s. Even though the wind has let up a bit, we're still seeing those bands of snow rotate northward into the Front Range and eastern Colorado after a day with now officially 6 inches at DIA, 10 at Lakewood, 9.5 at Cherry Creek Reservoir, Lone Tree with over 10, 13 inches in Genesee, and 14 in Elizabeth. More totals on 9news.com. Again, the heavier snow bands extending across northeastern Colorado, back down eastern Adams County, into Elbert County, and back into the foothills. We'll get a little lull in the action, then the next wave will come up. You will possibly wake up to some light snow again in Denver, with the heavier amounts south of Monument, east of Lyman and Agate under a winter storm warning. Accumulation amounts tonight and tomorrow, less than a half an inch or an inch. It's really going to be Friday into Saturday that we will see the heaviest snow as the storm finally tries to migrate east and move out. The timing and impact coming up.
Vice President Kamala Harris is offering her supporters both comfort and a challenge after conceding to Donald Trump.
She spoke this afternoon for the first time since the race was called in front of an emotional crowd at her alma mater, Howard University. She stressed that Democrats have to accept the results of the election to preserve democracy. And she said she spoke to Donald Trump by phone, offering to help with a peaceful transition of power. Harris also offered a message of hope.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign, the fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people. And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square.
We'd be able to help make sure that
President Biden plans to address the election results tomorrow. The White House says that he spoke with President-elect Trump today. He invited him to meet with him soon.
So while we already know that the presidency and the Senate will be controlled by Republicans, the balance of power in the U.S. House is still yet to be determined. Final tallies will take a while. The decision could be next week. It could even be beyond that. In the current House, Republicans hold a slim 4-vote majority. The tightest congressional race in Colorado didn't move much today, and that's welcome news for Democratic Congresswoman Yadira Caraveo, who has a 3,900-vote lead over her Republican challenger, Gabe Evans. Evans' team told us today that they are pinning their hopes on votes in Weld County that might narrow Caraveo's lead. Updates throughout the day have not done that. Republican State Senator Barb Kirkmeyer lost to Caraveo in this race in 2022, another close one, 1,600 votes. She told us today she thinks that Evans still has a path, but this waiting and hoping is hard.
It's extremely nerve-wracking, and there's a lot of stress involved, so you just try to keep yourself calm. I took a lot of walks. You want to leave every race knowing that you did everything you possibly could do, and if you have that feeling, then you know what, it's just the way it goes.
The Weld County clerk told us tonight they have 14,000 ballots left to process in that county. Not all of them are CD8 ballots. Evans would need wide margins out of Weld, and he'd need to pick up ground in Adams County. And the remaining vote there, Caraveo has typically held an advantage in Adams County. Both the clerks say they'll be counting tomorrow. The end of the race for Colorado's 3rd congressional district came late this afternoon. Democrat Adam Frisch conceded the race to Republican Jeff Hurd. He's down 3 percentage points in that race. He much more narrowly lost the same district to Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert in 2022. This is a safely Republican district, Western Slope, Southern Colorado, Pueblo. It was just made more competitive by Boebert's relative unpopularity.